What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again with another live stream for you guys. How is everyone doing out there? Pre-Doncaster live stream. Our Carabao Cup journey starts tomorrow in the third round in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We take on League One side Doncaster in a bid to get through to the Carabao Cup to try and get another trophy through the door. Obviously, we broke our trophy drought last season with that Europa League win. And now we've got a taste for glory. Can we go and embark on an unbelievable journey in the Carabao Cup this season? We've got a Tottenham update for you in this stream. We've also got a predicted lineup, of course, with a lot of interesting team news that is Thomas Frank has confirmed. Just want to say big up to everyone in the chat at the moment. JMP says, I miss Ben. So do we. So don't we all? We all miss Ben. Unfortunately, he's getting a well-earned break at the moment with he's got two very young kids. He's on paternity leave, essentially, which has been allowed by me and allowed by himself, I guess. All right, who else is in the chat? We got Tel Cockrell. Big up to, says Frank in. Did we win? We haven't played yet. We have won a few games, though, this season. Afternoon all. Big up to everyone in the chat at the moment. Let's although get into a Tottenham update, and we'll first start off with an update from Thomas Frank about Dejan Kulusevski and his injury news. He says, of course, Kulusevski is a top player. Instead of putting an exact month, I just want him back as soon as possible. It's not tomorrow, but hopefully it's not too far away. There is a good chance to see Kulusevski in action before the end of the year. Obviously, that was the kind of timeline we expected with his long-term knee injury. It was a very nasty one he received back end of last season at home to Crystal Palace. Obviously, he's updated himself a few times on Instagram, pictures of his knee and back in training. He said, I'm hungry, let's eat in the gym. So he's obviously motivated to get back playing for Tottenham. And I think he would be absolutely chomping at the bit looking at the team, how they're playing and how he would fit in. I think he would really fit in like a glove into a Thomas Frank system, whether that be off the right, whether that be in the 10. I think he would absolutely thrive under Thomas Frank, and I think Frank can't wait probably to get him back on the pitch to think about the kind of profile he is, such a strong physical player, but with really good technical ability as well. I think those are the kind of players that Thomas Frank absolutely adores, and I think he'll be desperate to get Kulusevski back involved in the fray, and especially as well when you consider he's preferred Johnson off the left as well so far. So Kudus at the moment is taking a lot of the brunt, a lot of the pressure on the right-hand side, and he's having to play pretty much most games. So I think from that point of view, to get Kulusevski to kind of get those minutes away from Kudus on the right-hand side, rotate, and also playing the number 10 when Xavi is unable to. And we know how good Kulusevski can be. We saw last season when he was playing that number 10 position, for a good 3-4 month period, he was easily our best player and so consistent, especially in our first half of the season. So we know he's a player when 100% fit, he can easily be one of our star players. And to have him missing is a major blow. But it's good to hear Frank kind of put a bit of a timeline on it, saying before the end of the year there's a good chance we'll see him, which means he must be progressing well. But obviously it's still going to be a long time until we see him again. But let's hope it's quicker than we think, because he's such a crucial kind of player for us. Next up, this is from Ben Jacobs talking about Joao Palhinha. And he's saying that Joao Palhinha is keen to stay in Tottenham beyond next summer. The original agreement has an option to buy, which is set at 30 million euros. That was something that both Tottenham and the player were very keen on factoring in as part of the deal. Palhinha in particular viewed the loan as being contingent on having that option to buy, because he would like to permanently be back in the Premier League. If Tottenham choose to take up the option, the player will be very happy with that. And I think, obviously, given his start to life at Tottenham, a lot of the talk is starting to surface around activating that option to buy, which we do have for quite a modest fee in this current market of 30 million euros, which is what, 25 million pounds, to get someone of Joao Palhinha's quality for that amount of money would be an absolute steal. I know he's coming up on 30 or might be 30 years old now, so he is coming into the last stages of his career, but he's still got many years to give. 30 is not the end of your career by any stretch. I mean, Kane only moved to Bayern at 30 years old, and you can see what he's doing at the moment. Palhinha seems to be taking very good care of himself, and you can see Palhinha, the way he kind of conducts things in midfield. What he's good at, he's elite at, in my opinion, and that is winning duels in the middle of the park. And the amount of duels he wins and just retains possession, recovers, gives you that little bit of steel in the middle, which we've been missing for so long. 30 million euros for me is pretty good. Now, the only question mark for me was last season for Bayern. He had quite poor injury record. So, and obviously he came to Tottenham, wasn't so kind of right at the beginning, wasn't fully fit, and had a few poor performances. But obviously, since he's come 100% fit, he's been absolutely phenomenal most of the time. Yes, there are games where you might not need him and you can take him out, but there are definitely games where he's super, super useful. And I think he's worth having around the squad for me. So I think for 30 million euros, it's a really good deal. Yeah, so the one question mark was his injury record. So I want to see him stay fit for the whole season. And obviously, we're only in September at the moment, so we can't really make that determination until we've had that whole season and see what his injury record is like and how many games he misses. And because for Fulham, he stayed pretty injury-free, I believe. But for Bayern, he was marred in injury problems. And once you get to 30 and you're having injury problems, sometimes it's hard to kind of stay 100% fit, because once you hit 30, sometimes your body can start to decline and things like that, and it's hard. I've seen it with other players, but every player is different. So I want to see Palhinha kind of be 100% fit or be fairly injury-free or minimal injuries throughout the season, and that will go a long way to convincing me, yeah, we should really be activating, and he can be a player for us in that position with that experience for the next kind of 2-3 years. But yeah, I think for one, most Spurs fans right now are very, very happy with Joao Palhinha. He's playing very well. Brilliant performance against Brighton. One thing I would say is, though, at the moment it's away from home. He's performing a lot better than at home. At home, we haven't seen him put in too many of those top performances, so we're still waiting for that. But I mean, he has unbelievable abilities and values, and I think what he adds to the team is absolutely phenomenal, especially in those real tough away fixtures where we're under the cosh. We need someone who's just going to kind of step up for us in that middle of the park and allow us not to be bullied. I think he does a phenomenal job. Next up, we're going to be talking Harry Kane. This story just isn't going away, is it? And Build are saying Harry Kane can leave Bayern Munich next summer for 56.5 million as long as he states his intention to leave before the end of the January transfer window. This could alert the likes of Man United, Arsenal, I mean, really hope not, and Tottenham in considering a move for the star. And the Telegraph also put an article out saying there is fear in Germany that Harry Kane's third season at Bayern Munich could be his last. And obviously this season is his third season. So there's a lot of stories at the moment surrounding Harry Kane's future. Obviously, he would have been at Bayern by the end of this season 3 years. He would have broken that trophy drought that he so long wanted to do. Could potentially win the Champions League this season. We'll have to wait and see. From Bayern's point of view, 33 if there is an offer of the size they're talking about, 55 million, will be probably the last chance they have to kind of cash in on him and get some sort of money back on the 100 million euros they did spend on him. And I think it could work out for everyone if we kind of put in that kind of bid. The new kind of leadership at the club kind of show a statement of intent, bringing someone of Harry Kane's quality back to the club, a club legend, someone who's still showing no signs of slowing down. I think this season he has scored, I think he's got 11 goals already this season for Bayern Munich. He's in unbelievable form. He's been banging them in, got a brace against Chelsea in the Champions League. Harry Kane is showing no signs of slowing down at the moment. He kind of has a chance to break Alan Shearer's record at 33. I think he could be going into his late 30s, a bit like Cristiano Ronaldo. I think he takes such good care of himself. He shows no sign of slowing down. I don't think his game has ever relied on pace. It's always relied on game intelligence, picking up the right positions, and his finishing ability is obviously top-notch. Bayern Munich get a chance to get a bit of a fee for a 33-year-old striker and a chance to reinvest that and look towards the future. Tottenham get a world-class striker through the door, and the leadership show a bit of a statement of intent. I think it could be a win-win all round. I think this still kind of makes sense. He would have broken that trophy drought. So there's no real reason to stay at Bayern Munich beyond the third season as much. I don't think he'll want to finish his career in the Bundesliga. I think he will want to come back to the Premier League at some point. And I think this summer could be the perfect opportunity. I don't think it's going to happen in January, but I think in the summer, definitely there's an opportunity, I would say, for him to come back to the Premier League. And I think it could be perfect for everyone. And I think if he comes back at 33, he is, I think, 41 goals, I think, behind Alan Shearer's record, or 48 goals behind Alan Shearer's record of 260. He will break that, in my opinion, if he comes back at 33 years of age. He'll be, for me, at the top of his game at least till 35, 36. And I think he'll be scoring goals for fun and for anyone he plays for, in my opinion. So, yeah, good point from the guy in the chat roundtable. He did fresh off finishing 13th in the Ballon d'Or rankings after having 60 goals and assists. I think he can feel hard done by with that. It's unfortunate for him. He should be definitely higher up in those Ballon d'Or rankings. Maybe if Bayern Munich win the Champions League with a goal-scoring run, he's on. I wouldn't rule it out. If Bayern Munich can get a Champions League medal and this summer, at the end of the season, I think Kane could win Ballon d'Or. I really do. And I don't think that's a ridiculous shout. But I think after 3 years at Bayern, could be time for Harry Kane to come home. I think that's a story that will keep developing. So watch this space for me about the Harry Kane back to Tottenham story. And lastly, there is a story from Caught Offside that say Tottenham are understood to be preparing a move to sign Al Hilal and Portuguese midfielder Ruben Neves. Neves is keen on a return to Europe with Thomas Frank, and Thomas Frank is looking to bolster his midfield. Now, obviously, we have a plethora of midfield options at the moment. Bentancur, Bergvall, Palhinha, Gray, Simmons, Sarr. So we do have a lot of midfielders, but I have to say the one profile we don't have is a kind of Ruben Neves type of deep-lying playmaker who can kind of set the tone of the game, set the pace of the game with his passing ability. I think it would be a phenomenal signing if we would serious about going with someone like Ruben Neves. If you were to ask me kind of perfect kind of profile we're missing and someone who we could really use, absolutely it's someone like Ruben Neves. I think he could be perfect missing piece of the puzzle. The problem is, first of all, he's been in the Saudi League for a few years now. How that's affected him, I don't know. He's on nearly 300 grand a week. So he'd have to take a major pay cut to come to Spurs. I mean, our top of earner, I believe, is Romero after signing that new contract, and he's around 200. So he would have to take about £100,000 pay cut probably, unless we're willing to make him our highest earner. So there's a few question marks there. Obviously, Ruben Neves, formerly at Wolves, we've seen him in the Premier League absolutely smash out. He was brilliant when he was at Wolves. I thought he was one of the top midfielders in that position. But he did see the dollar signs of the Saudi League and decided to make that move. One of the first players, really, who decided to make that move. So obviously, you can infer into that what you like about his character and mentality. But if he does want to come back to Europe and he's keen to kind of start playing in one of the top leagues again, I would be delighted to bring someone like Neves. For me, I think he would be brilliant. He's the kind of missing profile we need in the midfield. And he's also kind of very strong, he's fairly strong defensively. He's not one of these luxury players. I think he sprays passes unbelievably. We just don't have an elite passer like Ruben Neves in the team, and I think he could be someone we really look at kind of as a profile, which we are missing. So let me know in the comment section below, would you like to see Ruben Neves come to Tottenham Hotspur? That is your Tottenham update. Let me know in the comment section below about any of the stories we discussed today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now we move on. We move on to the predicted lineup. Now, this is a fairly interesting predicted lineup to pick because obviously Doncaster at home, Carabao Cup, are we going to make a number of changes? Naturally, Frank confirmed there will be some changes made, but he did say as well that we're still going to have a strong team out there. So he said it's all about finding the right balance on the pitch, about making changes, freshening things up, but also having a very strong team out there. The injury news is Kolo Muani and Ben Davies have been ruled out by Thomas Frank. Muani missed the weekend's game due to a dead leg. Ben Davies has a minor injury. Hopefully they'll be back for the weekend, but they are going to be missing in this game. He also says Dominic Solanke and Kota Takai are training with the while training with the team today, which is great news, but this game comes a bit too early for them. James Maddison, Kulusevski, Yves Bissouma and Dragoshin are still long-term injuries. Hopefully Bissouma not too far away. Dragoshin obviously is actually training with the team at the moment, but after that ACL, was obviously taking things very slow and careful. But Kulusevski, Maddison still long-term injuries. They're not going to be seen for a while. So the injury list there, you can see, is growing. But we luckily, because of our summer business, we do still have quite a lot of options. So the injuries puts a bit of a spanner in the works on what I thought maybe the lineup will look like, but we'll give it a good go. I think in goal, I think it's going to be a chance for Antonin Kinski to get a go in this one, because he just hasn't had a look in so far this season. And I think I do think he could do well under Thomas Frank, in my opinion. He said on Kinski in his press conference, he was talking about him. He said the easy thing for Antonin would have been to stay with his former club, but now he has a big stage in front of him and a great future ahead. I think obviously off the back of a bad mistake as well for what do you call it, Vicario against Brighton. Kinski obviously having a chance to show what he's about. It is Doncaster, so you can't read too much into it. But good opportunity for Kinski to get some minutes. And I think he could be a really good keeper for Thomas Frank. All right, fullbacks is going to be a bit of a difficult one to decide, because I would have gone Ben Davies, but he's obviously out. Doggy made his first start. So I think Spence comes in. Now, Doggy put in a monstrous effort on the weekend. So is he going to want to give him a break? But if he does, is it Porro and Spence? But Porro needs a break as well. Does Gray come in potentially at fullback? But I think he's also going to want to give... he says he sees Gray more as a midfielder. So he said it's going to be a fairly strong team. So I think maybe he goes Porro. I think he goes Spence at right back. I think he definitely starts this one. And then I guess he goes a Doggy at left back. And gives him another start. But that would mean a Doggy starting 3 games a week. But then someone has to, unless he goes Porro and Spence, and then maybe Porro comes out on the weekend. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which way he goes. I think Porro's played so much, he needs to give him a rest. So, yeah, some people in the chat say they think a Doggy and Spence. So, all right, let's go Doggy and Spence in this one. I think it's quite a strong pairing against a Doncaster side, but with Ben Davies out, I think he's going to have to go in that direction. So, centre-backs. I think Danso definitely comes in. Dragoshin and Takai are still not available. He did mention Gray as a centre-back option, but I don't think he's going to start him in this one. I actually think Danso definitely comes in, but I think he comes in for Van de Ven. And I think Romero, because he's captain, will keep his place. And he will keep kind of things together at the back. He will keep the organisation. He's obviously the captain, so he has that responsibility. So I think Kikuti Romero will start at centre-back with Danso. Van de Ven getting a rest in this one. I think that's kind of how I feel. I think Van de Ven... we know his injury problems in the past, so you don't want to kind of, if anyone's going to get a rest and you don't want to overplay him, I think that would probably be Van de Ven. So, Kuti Romero and Kevin Danso at centre-back. Now, midfield, I think it's a really good opportunity to give Archie Gray a run out. So, I think he definitely starts in kind of defensive midfield position. Pape Sarr didn't play any minutes on the weekend, so I definitely think he comes in as well next to Archie Gray. Now, the front four is interesting because Mawani's out, so he's definitely not going to play. Richarlison, is he going to want to give him a break? Probably want to give him a rest as well. Is this an opportunity to give Xavi his first start in the number 10? Does Bergvall continue playing there? Obviously, you got Tell to come in. I think Tell gets a run out. Now, he played Tell up front against West Ham. So, given that Rishi he did play Tell up front against West Ham, but he did have some interesting quotes about Tell. He said he plays his games for France under 21s down the middle, but he can also play down the left. Maybe it is his best position, but I don't like to say. So he's kind of hinting there that he believes Tell's best position is off the left. But he's only really played him up front due to selection problems, I think. Brennan Johnson's obviously going to need some game time as well. So I think Brennan probably plays off the right. I think he gets a start there. I think it's probably an opportunity. Xavi was on the bench on the weekend. So I think it's an opportunity to give Xavi his first start in the 10 and just have him get used to that role in this system. And it's a really good opportunity to kind of ease him into that. And obviously he was so good in the 10 against Brighton when he came on. And I think probably, even though he said Tell's best position off the left, I think he's, with Moani out, with Rishi our only striker option because Solanke, it's too early for him. I mean, Dane Scarlett is an option. It could be Dane. I think he'll be on the bench. He'll probably come off the bench, Dane. I think Tell starts in the 9 and Odegaard comes in off the left. So I think Odegaard, off the back of for his first start against Brighton, good opportunity for Odegaard to kind of bolster his confidence, get him running at players off the left-hand side, maybe get a goal or assist and really boost his confidence in that position. I think Kudus gets a rest because he started every game so far this season. You bring Brennan in. Xavi, because he was on the bench on the weekend, he gets his first start. Bergvall started 3 games in a week, so he gets kind of a bit of respite in this one. So I think it's a good balance here of a few changes, but also a very strong team. So you can see on screen the team I'm gone for the Doncaster game tomorrow. Kinski in goal, Jed Spence, Kuti Romero, Kevin Danso and Desi Udogie. Midfield 3 of Pat Matessar, Archie Gray and Xavi Simons, with Brennan Johnson on the right, Wilson Odegaard on the left, and Matisse Tell up front. What do we think in the chat? What do we think about this? Christian says Dane has to start. Xavi for 60 minutes and Williams Barnett. That's also a good point. He did say, Thomas Frank, it's really a great opportunity to have some young players on the bench. It's always special to give a youngster the debut. It could be a good opportunity. So I do expect the likes of Williams Barnett to be on the bench as well on the week tomorrow, and maybe get an opportunity to get some minutes. He's absolutely been ripping it up for the under 21s. Williams Barnett. I think last game he scored a first half hat trick. People saying low stakes game, give Tell some minutes, start Dane Odegaard on the bench. I mean, it could be that. Could it be Dane up front and Tell off the left with because Odegaard played on the weekend? Could that be the way to maybe give Tell a boost? And because Odegaard could well be starting against Wolves on the weekend as well. That could be it. Maybe it could be a good opportunity to give Dane a start. I don't disagree with that. Andrew Hellier says that team is strong. Me also, I don't see this happening. Our left side would be the main area of creation with that lineup. Absolutely agree. Because Spence and Johnson, we'll have to see how they're so used to linking up on the left-hand side. It'll be interesting to see how they link up on the right-hand side. Spence and Johnson, when they're both on their favoured right foot going down the line. Hippo said, let's make the change, Dane. Do we make the change? What do we think? Do we think Dane comes in? Dane, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to... I feel like it might be just a bit too weak if we go Dane up front and Tell off the left. But maybe not. I mean, Dane has played at that level before. It's not alien to him, and he's done okay at that level. I think we're going to keep it. I think we're keeping it Tell and Odebear up front. I think that's going to be a pretty good lineup. I'm predicting Spurs to win this game 3-0 with that lineup. Obviously, Richarlison off the bench, maybe Dane off the bench. You got Kudus to come on if need be. You got Bergvall to come on. You got Bentancur, Palhinha as well if something goes wrong. There's a lot of options off the bench. It does go to show our strength in depth in this one. And obviously the Carabao Cup is a good opportunity for Thomas Frank. I think off the back of winning that Europa League last season, this squad has a taste for winning trophies and a taste for silverware. I do think I predicted Frank to get to maybe the quarters or the semi-finals in the Carabao, but actually to go a lot further in the FA Cup, only because he's still new to the job. So I still think he's figuring things out right now, figuring out his best team, figuring out how good these players are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. So I think if we do get drawn to a really tough team, a more stable team in this Carabao Cup in the next few rounds, we could come unstuck. Whereas I think once the FA Cup comes around, second half of the season, Frank has had a lot more time with his team and his players, and he's had a lot more time to work out the strengths and weaknesses of all his players. And I think he's going to have a better idea of how we should be playing and what we need to do to win games of football. Albeit we're doing a very good job of that now, but I think we'll be even better in the second half of the season. So I think FA Cup is actually one I'm thinking that we've got a better chance of winning. Carabao Cup, let's see how far we go. Let's see how well we do. I'm not holding my hat on winning that Carabao, but I'd love to win it. I'd love to go back-to-back seasons winning trophies. That would be absolutely brilliant. I think, look, that is your predicted lineup. I think that's all we're going to talk about, really. Let me know in the comment section below. I'm going 3-0. Give your score predictions in the comment section below. What do you think the score is going to be? Do you agree with the lineup? Predicted subs, says Hippo. I reckon Dane will come on. Maybe Tell moves over to the left. I reckon Williams-Barnett will come on maybe in the 10 potentially if we're up quite, if the scoreline is decent. So I really don't want to see those two players, especially Williams-Barnett. I would love to see him get some minutes. Big up to you, Turnello. So Sim carrying the channel on his back. You are there, the one who deserves a break now. Big up to you. I'm okay. It's all good. I'm excited to see how we get on tomorrow in the Carabao. It'll be a good opportunity for some other players to get opportunities to impress. Hopefully, Tell Odeberg can really get some confidence. Hopefully, Xavi gets some time in that number 10 position, and hopefully we really get to see Williams-Barnett as well off the bench. That is one I think everyone's really looking forward to for sure. But yeah, look, that's all we're going to go over today. The Thomas Frank press conference is, I think, live on the channel at the moment, so go over and check that out if you want to see what Thomas Frank had to say pre-match. But we'll see you tomorrow for the watch-along when Brian Daigle is in the studio, and he is going to be live with me for the watch-along tomorrow. So we'll see you all there. I'm looking forward to it. See you tomorrow. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.